So it's Rabbi Mordecai here. Rabbi Mordecai. You gotta always make sure. That was one of the processes of my development, was like really like working on the new vocal techniques needed to pronounce certain Hebrew words and letters. So you gotta always say the Mordechai, Chai, life. But we're in Parsha Vayera, but I wanna be able to like kind of like segue our understanding of Vayera and where we're at and what this process is. And you think about the idea of the Jewish people being under this harsh tyranny and this the painful experience it is to be a slave and to be removed of your abilities to think as a person. You think about the African American experience, and you think about that process of the strength of those people to be able to go through slavery and not have any type of any type of acclimation process into mainstream society, in terms of living in a certain way, functioning a certain way. Just like threw them out and it's like, hey, you know what, you guys need to figure it out. But the fact that group of people that were in some areas even inbred with each other, right, for the sake of profit, which is like they talk about child trafficking, human trafficking. That's what the whole slavery thing was. And for those people to be able to endure and to progress to become who they became in America today, is something to think about, right? And we're talking about this rehabilitation process. So there's a famous midrashim that talks about the 15th of Nisan, and it talks about this process of the power of the 15th of the Nisan, and the fact that there's this cosmic energy that comes from the heavens that enter this physical reality and enters our neshama in our physical reality. In the 15th of the Nisan, the power of the 15th of the Nisan, they bring the story of Sarah Imeinu. And Sarah Imeinu, on this day, gave birth to Isaac. She gave birth to Yitzhak Avinu. And this context of her becoming pregnant is like at the age of 90. We take it for granted because it's something in the Torah, and it's somebody who's so huge like Sarah Imeinu and Avraham Avinu that it's like, oh, you know what? It's like whatever, you know what I mean? It's like they're superstars, they're superhuman people. Right. So, yeah, I relate, maybe I don't relate, but either way it happened and I agree on that. But no, this is the aspect of looking at, number one, the power of cosmic power, but also the power of self-transformation, the transformation of belief in Hashem, because the Torah teaches us that literally her whole entire body rejuvenated. She developed a body at 90 years old, her whole body rejuvenated itself, and she had the body of a 20-year-old, right? Her chest and everything, she was full in blossom and growing. All of her gray hair turned to black. You know what I'm saying? And so this is her physical transformation that she went through. You think about, these TV shows like the Kardashians and people like this. It's like, when you think about it, the Kardashians, one of their greatest contributions is what? Cosmetic surgery, right? Not cosmic surgery. Actually, that's a difference. Sarah Imeinu had cosmic surgery, and the Kardashians have cosmetic surgery, right? And so it's like those two different worlds, those two different realities of self-transformation. Today, we live in a society that tells us that if you want to rejuvenate, if you want to recreate yourself, go and get a surgery, go and get a quick fix. Over here in the Torah, we hear about a spiritual rejuvenation, allowing a woman to defy all forms of reality, all forms of diagnosis by doctors and scalable systems of what humans should do or should not do. She defies all of that. And she creates a whole new idea with no cosmic surgery, with no cosmetic surgery, right? It's like, sometimes you go back and forth, but she had cosmic surgery, right? And so we think about, the Kardashians in that reality, and you think about all the people today that have this desire to want to change, right? People who get cosmetic surgery, these people want to change. They want something new. People who tuck in their stomachs and all these things, and they want to be desired. They want to feel. They want people to connect to them. They want that that interaction. But what's the root of that interaction that they want? Right? Think about it. Like, say a woman goes and, gets that surgery that increases her hips and her end and the whole thing, and that whole surgery, Brazilian, whatever it's called. And but what does she want? Think about it. She wants to be more attractive. And if she's more attractive, the guy who's with her is going to care about her more, right? And the more that he cares about her, the more love she's going to feel with that guy. And the more love she feels with that guy, the more the safety she's going to feel, right? And the sense of belonging and the sense of oneness and all these things that she imagines going to come from getting this surgery. But at the root of it, if you look at the essence of all the things that she wants, to be loved, to feel safe, to feel oneness, to feel close, those are all attributes of connection to Hashem. But she doesn't know how to get to that connection of Hashem. She doesn't know that there is a real way to really manifest that true desire. So she has an artificial way of connecting to that desire. And that artificial way that she has to connect to that desire, that's exactly what we're seeing with this idea of cosmetic surgery, right? And this is the opposite of Sarah Imeinu. This is the opposite of Sarah Imeinu. She was rejuvenated by Hashem through self-transformation, through restriction, through believing in something that defied all of humanity at that time. Understanding and having the belief in God's message for her, that unique message for her. She was able to accept that message for her, and she took that message and she recreated her entire existence. This is the formula. Hashem is giving us the formula by looking at our avos. It's not just about, looking at the midrashim and, different things like, oh, wow, very nice story, or so historical, thing, or maybe it's metaphorical, maybe it's a way to look at the pasukim. No, these are codes to transform our lives. And on top of all these things, other things too as well. But the codes to change our lives are inside of our midrashim and inside of our Talmud, inside of our Zohar and our holy sources, and most importantly, inside of the Chumash itself, inside of the Tanakh itself. All the codes to transform ourselves are in there. So now we're talking about the Jews being in Mitzrayim and going through this process of transformation. So the transformation that they were going through in Mitzrayim was not cosmetic. It was cosmic. It was a cosmic transformation. And this cosmic transformation that was taking place in Mitzrayim was a transformation that was happening stage by stage. The first stage, as we discussed in the last year, was this stage of just understanding the idea of the general rulership of Hashem and how everything is under Hashem's reshus and everything is connected to one source. Every molecule, every star, every planet, every person, every idea, everything that exists in this reality, whether it's physical or non-physical, it comes from one source. And by us understanding that idea, what do? We build into this idea of ourselves and our place inside of it and our ability to build inside of it. But we have to understand that this is through the transformation. We have to understand what real transformation is. Real transformation is restriction. Real transformation is transformation of the mind, of thinking of things differently. This is the way I would normally do things. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to force myself to do it differently. And by doing that, we create a new kalim. We create a new kli. We create this new unification between Ze'er Pin and Malchut. So then we all have the merit of Sarah Imeinu, who through her self-transformation showed the entire world what transformation is. And as our role as Jews is to teach the world of the true transformation of self, not exterior, but the internal, the cosmic surgery is what we want from Hashem. And we should be successful in Zoche to experience Mashiach Zechenu in gathering of all the exiles and the healing of all the sick and the resurrection of all the dead. Baruch atah Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.